Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Good.
Today we're going to be talking about something that you probably use every single day.
Yeah,
WhatsApp.
that's right.
But we're not just talking about, sending emojis to your friends or, sending voice notes.
Right.
We're going to be talking about WhatsApp activism and really how effective is it, particularly within the Muslim community.
I think it's really interesting because we see WhatsApp being used for organizing all sorts of things these days.
Yeah.
But the research that we're going to be looking at today actually argues that it might not be the best or the most effective tool for the job.
It's almost like, using a hammer to build a house.
Right.
I mean, you might get some things done,
Yeah,
but it's not really designed for that kind of a project.
exactly.
Like that.
Our source material for today is an excerpt from a paper called
Okay.
The Challenge of Using WhatsApp for Organized Initiatives,
Mm-hmm.
A Psychological, Islamic, and Strategic Perspective by Adil Anjum. And it really digs into those three unique perspectives to examine this whole issue.
So let's break down kind of WhatsApp's limitations when it comes to activism.
Okay.
The author argues that it just wasn't built for large-scale projects or structured teamwork.
You can think of it this way. Imagine trying to run a marathon wearing flip-flops.
Okay.
You might make it a few steps,
Right.
but you're setting yourself up for a world of pain.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Right.
So how does that actually play out, in real-world activism?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is something called social loafing.
Okay.
And it's this psychological phenomenon
Yeah.
where people tend to put in less effort when they're part of a big group.
Oh, I've definitely experienced that.
Yeah.
It's like, you're assigned a group project in school or something,
Yes.
and suddenly everyone becomes like a master of disappearing.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, where'd they go?
And it happens online, too.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt less motivated to contribute in like a huge WhatsApp group because you feel like your voice just gets lost in the noise?
Yeah.
That's social loafing in action.
Yeah, it can definitely feel overwhelming, like you're drowning in a sea of messages and nothing's actually being accomplished.
That's actually another issue that the author highlights. It's called cognitive overload.
Okay.
Imagine you're trying to coordinate a protest through WhatsApp, but the group is flooded with memes and off-topic conversations. So
Yeah.
trying to find that crucial information about logistics and timing
Yeah.
becomes almost impossible.
Yeah.
That's the danger of cognitive overload.
So how can we combat this?
Well, the author brings in the Islamic perspective,
right.
which for me was a real aha moment. Islam really emphasizes structured leadership and organization.
Right.
And we see that reflected in the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Right. I'm already thinking about, the battles of Badr and Uhud,
Yeah.
where the Prophet strategically appointed commanders
Yes.
based on their proven military expertise.
Exactly. He put the right people in the right roles.
Right.
And it wasn't just based on who was the most enthusiastic or, well-connected.
He understood that having clear leadership and a task-based structure was crucial to their success.
And we see this principle applied in other areas, too.
Okay.
Think about the construction of Majd al-Nabawi.
Yeah.
The Prophet delegated specific tasks based on people's skills and abilities.
It sounds like a blueprint for effective organization, really.
Yeah.
So is the author saying that, a lot of WhatsApp groups that we see today often lack this kind of clarity?
That's one of the key points, yes.
Okay.
Without clear leadership and structure, things can become inefficient and even lead to conflict.
Right.
It's like having all the ingredients for a delicious meal,
Yeah.
but no recipe to follow.
Right.
You might end up with something edible, but it won't be as good as it could be.
So how do we bring that structure and organization into the digital realm, especially when it comes to activism?
Well, to answer that, the author actually compares activism to how successful businesses operate.
Okay.
They thrive on systems, delegation, and accountability.
Right.
They don't rely on cluttered group chats.
That's true. They have specialized tools and platforms like, Slack, Notion, Asana
Yes.
that are designed for managing projects, tracking progress, keeping everyone on the same page.
And that's the kind of shift the author suggests for Muslim initiatives to be truly effective.
Okay.
We need to move beyond the limitations of WhatsApp
Yeah.
and adopt a more professional approach
Cool.
to organization and project management.
That's fascinating.
Yeah,
I think we've uncovered a lot about why WhatsApp alone might not be the perfect tool,
right?
but I'm curious about the specific solution that the author proposes.
Okay.
I think it was called the Muslim Lobbying Framework.
Yes.
What is that?
It's a practical, actionable framework designed to address the challenges we've been discussing.
Okay.
And it all boils down to a few key elements.
Yeah.
So it starts with something we all need: clear objectives. It's not enough to just have a vague idea of what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
You need to define specific, measurable goals.
All
It's
right.
like setting out on a journey. You need to know your destination before you can plan your route.
I see what you mean. So instead of just saying we want to raise awareness about climate change,
Yeah.
a better objective would be we want to reach 10,000 people with our climate change campaign through social media by the end of the month.
Exactly. That kind of clarity gives you a target to aim for and helps you track your progress.
Okay.
And speaking of targets, the framework also emphasizes the importance of having the right leadership.
Okay.
It's not about popularity contests or pointing people just because they're enthusiastic.
Yeah.
It's about selecting individuals with the experience, the
Right.
competence, and the proven track record to guide the initiative effectively.
So just like the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, strategically chose his commanders,
Absolutely.
we need to apply that same wisdom to choosing leaders for our online activism.
Absolutely. And once you have that strong leadership team in place,
Yeah.
the next step is creating a task-based structure.
Okay.
This means breaking down the overall goal into smaller, manageable tasks
Right.
and assigning them to specific individuals with clear deadlines.
It's like building a house.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just tell everyone to go grab some bricks and start building.
Right.
You need architects, electricians, plumbers,
Exactly.
each with their own specialized tasks and timelines.
That's a great analogy. And just like you'd have a foreman overseeing the construction project.
Yeah.
The framework also stresses the importance of accountability in online activism.
Right.
People need to be held responsible for their assigned tasks,
Okay.
and there should be clear consequences if they don't follow through.
No more disappearing group project members.
Right.
But how do you actually implement that kind of accountability in a digital space?
That's where utilizing the right tools becomes crucial.
Oh,
The
yeah.
framework emphasizes that while WhatsApp can be great for quick updates
Yeah.
and general communication
Yeah.
for managing a complex initiative,
Hmm.
you need something more robust.
It's like trying to run a Fortune 500 company
Yes.
using only sticky notes and a whiteboard.
Exactly.
You need sophisticated software to manage all the moving parts.
Exactly. Platforms like Trello,
Yeah.
Asana, or Notion are specifically designed for project management, task delegation, progress tracking,
Right.
and fostering seamless collaboration.
So basically, we need to treat online activism with the same level of professionalism and organization that we would apply to any other serious endeavor.
Precisely. This doesn't mean WhatsApp is completely useless for activism.
Sure.
It's still a valuable tool for spreading awareness,
Yeah.
mobilizing people for events, and
Right.
just keeping everyone connected.
Right.
But when it comes to actual implementation and achieving tangible results,
Yeah.
you need a more structured and strategic approach.
You know, it's interesting because I think this goes beyond just the Muslim community or even activism in general.
Right.
These challenges and solutions can apply to any group of people trying to achieve a common goal.
I agree. Social loafing,
Yeah.
the bystander effect, cognitive overload,
Yeah.
these are human tendencies, not just Muslim or activist tendencies.
Right.
So whether you're organizing a community fundraiser, planning a school event,
Right.
or even just trying to get your family to agree on a vacation destination,
That's true.
having a clear structure, defined roles,
Right.
and the right tools can make all the difference.
It's like that saying, teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes.
But without a shared vision,
Right.
effective communication,
Yeah.
and a plan of action,
Exactly.
even the most well-intentioned teams can fall apart.
And that brings us back to the core message of this paper.
Okay.
Good intentions alone aren't enough.
Right.
It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of online activism,
Yeah.
sharing posts, joining groups.
Right.
But are we truly making a difference?
I think that's a question we all need to ask ourselves.
Yep.
Are we contributing meaningfully, or are we just adding to the noise?
It's so easy to fall into the trap of thinking that just because we're talking about something online,
Yeah.
we're actually doing something about it.
Right.
But real change requires more than just clicks and shares.
Right.
It requires a shift in mindset,
Huh.
a commitment to action,
Yeah.
and a willingness to adopt more professional and strategic approaches.
This deep dive has really given me a lot to think about.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know if there are any real-world examples
Yeah.
of how this framework has been successfully implemented,
Yeah.
especially within the Muslim community.
That's a great question, and one I think we should explore further after a quick break.
Yeah.
You know, there are actually a few encouraging examples.
Sorry.
Take, for instance, some of the Muslim-led initiatives focused on combating Islamophobia or advocating for refugee rights.
Right.
They've moved beyond just social media awareness campaigns
Yeah.
and have adopted more structured approaches to lobbying policy advocacy
Yeah.
and community organizing.
That's encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
So they're actually applying the principles of clear objectives,
Right.
strategic leadership,
Yes.
and task-based organization
Yes,
to create tangible change.
exactly. They're using a combination of online tools and offline strategies.
Okay.
While WhatsApp might still be used for communication and updates, they're also utilizing project management platforms,
Right.
creating detailed action plans,
Okay.
and holding regular meetings to ensure accountability.
Yeah.
They're essentially operating like well-oiled machines,
Yeah.
which makes them far more effective in achieving their goals.
That's really inspiring.
Yeah.
It shows that with the right mindset and a willingness to adapt,
Yes.
online activism can move beyond just talk
Right.
and translate into real-world impact.
And that's the key takeaway I hope our listeners get from this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's about being mindful and intentional in
Yeah.
how we engage in activism.
Right.
It's about recognizing that WhatsApp, while a powerful tool, is just one piece of the puzzle.
It's like having a toolbox full of different instruments.
Right.
We wouldn't use a screwdriver to hammer in a nail, right?
Exactly.
Each tool has its purpose, and we need to choose the right one for the job.
That's a great way to put it. And just like a skilled craftsman knows which tool to use and when effective activists need to understand the strengths and limitations of different platforms and strategies.
So as we wrap things up,
Okay.
what's the one piece of advice you'd give to our listener who might be feeling overwhelmed or disillusioned by the state of online activism today?
I'd say don't give up on the power of collective action,
Okay.
but also don't underestimate the importance of structure, strategy, and choosing the right tools for the job. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
It takes time, dedication, and a willingness to learn and adapt.
And maybe a little less time scrolling through endless group chats?
Exactly. So think about the causes you're passionate about.
Yeah.
Think about the skills and resources you have to offer, and then ask yourself, how could I contribute in a way that is both meaningful and effective?
That's a great question to ponder.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
Yeah.
From the psychological pitfalls of online activism to the inspiring examples of those who are doing it right.
Yeah.
We've explored how to move beyond just talking about change and into the realm of actually making it happen.
It's been a fascinating conversation.
It has.
I hope our listeners feel empowered to approach their own activism with a renewed sense of purpose and strategy.
That's it for our deep dive into WhatsApp activism.
Yes.
We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little bit challenging.
I hope so.
Remember, making a difference starts with each of us taking responsibility for our actions and finding ways to contribute effectively.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep striving to make a positive impact on the world.